Hey everyone, it's Skipper Mark, and today we are at the Rocky Hill Ferry in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. So this is the Connecticut River. Biggest issue we have to watch out for are sticks, logs actually, and they get soaked and you barely see them, just bobbing slightly below the surface. So we do have to be aware of that. So we're gonna head south toward Essex, which is about 30 miles away or so. Thanks for watching, and look forward to having a fun adventure with everybody. So the water today is super calm. This is great, but it's surprisingly windy. Winds are supposed to be 18 miles an hour, or gusts to 18, but because we're in the valley here and the river, it's always sheltered. This is looking south toward Cromwell, Middletown, Portland, and you know, heading out toward the ocean. This is the ferry. It's a really historic ferry, old from the 1800s, and they still keep it in operation. They were going to get rid of it, but they kept it in kind of as a I don't know what you call it, like a tourist attraction, but people use it actually to get across to Glastonbury. This is the route we took down the river from Rocky Hill to just before the ocean in Old Saybrook. Total distance was just over 80 miles, and it took about 7 hours, with our speeds ranging from 5 miles per hour in the no-wake zones to about 45 in the higher speed areas, which at the time we were on the river was the maximum speed limit. This is probably the first of 20 or so no-wake zones that we had to pass through, because there's so many marinas, anchored boats, and things like that along the way. So that was a real-time travel between no-wake zones. It was literally like 1 minute. And that's what makes traveling on the river so slow. It's just like you barely get up to speed and then no-wake zone. Speed, no-wake zone. But I think once we leave like the Portland area, we'll probably be pretty good. I'm not sure if this is Portland or what. Could still be South Glastonbury, maybe. This is the Tournament Players Club, which is a housing area and a golf course on the PGA Golf Tour. This is pretty much how boating goes on the Connecticut River, so I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of similar videos unless something exciting happens along the way. Something exciting happened along the way. As we made our way into Middletown, we got stopped by the DEEP, which stands for the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. He wanted to see our boating certificates, whistles, fire extinguisher, and to make sure that we were wearing our life jackets. He was friendly, and we were back on our way within a couple minutes. I didn't know exactly where the speed changed to a no-wake zone in Middletown, so we went slow while I looked it up online. It starts 500 feet downstream from the Aragoni Bridge, which puts it just about at the center point between that bridge and the railroad bridge to the south. Riding through Middletown was very long and boring, and took about 20 minutes to make it through the almost 2-mile-long no-wake zone. A short distance south of Middletown is the Clean Energy natural gas power plant. In 2010, I worked for the company that installed the furniture there when it was built, and we had a delivery scheduled for February 7th, but it got postponed because they weren't quite ready. Well, on that day, they were purging the lines and it exploded, destroying most of the building and killing 6 people and injuring over 50. The explosion was so powerful that it was felt over 30 miles away. This is why the river is so dangerous. There's sticks and logs all over the place. This one just happened to be sticking way out of the water, but many are hidden below the water's surface, like this one we saw just south of the drawbridge in Haddam. If you hit that thing, it would really do a lot of damage to your boat. And then there was this one that I didn't even see until after I had run over it. Thankfully, it was pretty rotted and kind of soft, so I don't think it did any damage. At least we didn't see any when we got back to the boat ramp. But it's still not something that you want to hit. I ran over that stick! What? I hit that stick. Okay. Yeah.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
What?
It'll be okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty soggy. This is the town of Essex, which is very popular along the river for both locals and transient boaters. There's several marinas and lots of restaurants in town, plus shops along the main road. From Essex, it's a very short ride to Old Saybrook, which is on the mouth of the Connecticut River. The scenery here is totally different from the area that we had just come through, like in Middletown and that area. Here's another huge log that we saw just before the Baldwin Bridge in Old Saybrook. This thing would do some serious damage to a boat and its engine if someone were to hit it. From the bridge here, it's about 3.5 miles to the ocean. After making it to the mouth of the river, we didn't really want to go any further because it was getting late and the area was kind of boring, so we just turned around and headed back towards home.
Yeah. I felt like we were in Miami. Well, that's certainly not a no wake.
As we made our way under the Baldwin Bridge, we couldn't help but notice the strong current. It was really flowing fast, and I estimated about 4 miles an hour. Once we were out of the no-wake zone, we were able to get going at a pretty good clip, and we made it to Essex in a couple minutes, where we admired this big blue boat. There are a lot of nice houses along the river, but I thought this one was really pretty. I liked the boat dock, or the red building, I'm not even actually sure what it is, on the right side. The house way up on the hill was the house of William Gillette. He was a famous actor and best known for playing Sherlock Holmes in the theater. It's now a state park and a wonderful area to visit with great views if you ever get the chance. I found all of these dead trees very interesting, and I'm curious what caused them to die, because the river's been here for hundreds of years. Why would they just suddenly die now? We're now heading past the Goodspeed Opera House and under the drawbridge that connects Haddam and East Haddam together. Wow, that boat barely made it underneath the bridge. This flag was flying from a real flagpole, and it must have put in very deep into the mud because it didn't even budge in the current. It was like rock solid.
We should have 10 gallons left, it says. Yeah. So their gauge is just clearly wrong. How many gallons do you have left or used? I do not. Okay. So you're half done. Oh, hold on. I gotta put my safety lanyard on. Okay, ready?
We had about 20 miles to go, but all of a sudden Matt's gas gauge started flashing, saying he was out of gas. The trip computer said he had about 9 gallons left, and when I did a quick calculation of our average fuel burn, it said the same thing. Turns out that after watching a bunch of YouTube videos, the gas gauge itself on the Yamaha machines isn't very accurate, but he was still pretty worried and didn't want to run out of gas that far from the dock. I don't know what these things are, but they were cool. They kind of look like defense turrets or something. As we approached Middletown, the skies turned really dark, and we thought we were going to get caught in a terrible thunderstorm. The police were out on patrol, and I was really hoping they didn't come over and stop us. We just wanted to get back to the dock as quickly as possible. Thankfully, they didn't. As we got to within 5 miles of the dock, my boat started beeping and giving me the same warning that Matt's just had. It said I was out of gas and I'd better stop quickly. I checked the trip computer and it said I'd used 11 gallons, which meant I had 7.5 gallons left. So clearly I wasn't empty. When we got back, we got gas on our way home, and sure enough, it took just a little over 11 gallons to fill it. That tells me that the computer is pretty accurate, but the gauge is not.
Too much?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I said I was a little far in the water.
What's that? Oh.
I said I was a little far in the water with the trailer.
All right, everyone. So we're back at the Rocky Hill Ferry parking lot. One kind of weird thing that happened, and we've never gone this far. I'll post actually how far we went in the video when I make it. I have a picture of our distances and how much gas we used and stuff. So it says we used less than 12 gallons, but the actual gauge says we were empty, and it was beeping like, you know, beep, 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 a warning saying we're empty. So I really don't know what we used. It'll be interesting to see how much when we get gas. So if you have any questions about the Connecticut River, you know, please leave a message in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer as best I can. Overall, it was a fun day. There was a lot of sticks and logs and pieces of wood and all kinds of stuff like that that kind of bothered me, and that you know, some of them you couldn't even avoid, and we hit a couple small ones. Hopefully no damage to the boats, but we'll go home, check them out, and if it was, then, you know, you get it fixed. But the whole point is to have fun and obviously not try to damage them, but if it happens, it happens. So again, thanks for watching and have a great day.